kind that comes with having a house full of kids. There's the bad kind, like season-ending injuries. There's the necessary kind, like having an agent in Hollywood. And there's silly drama, like the drama around my percolating pectorals. And then there's the drama you can skip.
Skip the drama that comes with not having your high school diploma or equivalency. Find free adult education classes near you and finish your high school diploma. Visit finishyourdiploma.org.
Or text diploma to 97779. Message and data rates may apply. Reply STOP to opt out. That's diploma to 97779. And leave the drama to actors like me.
Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes?
How could he do this to you? And for Sheila, she has split ends.
B, console her?
Oh, sweetie, this is going to happen a lot. 4, maybe 5 more times before you get married.
C, take charge?
Got to get this all straightened out. Give a little talking to, man to man, mano a mano. Hey, Steve. Is now a good time? No? Okay, no problem. Bye.
Or D, help her find a new boyfriend?
I know a great place to meet boys. The internet. Nice, single boys. Never mind. How about some ice cream?
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is you over 30 years ago.
Are we there yet? Are we there yet?
And this is your mom when you drive her back from therapy.
Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet?
Roles change without us noticing, and in your new role, we help you help. AARP gives you the information to help care for your mom so that you can have patience with her, just like she did with you. Visit aarp.org/caregiving or call 1-877-333-5885 to get practical health and wellness tips to provide even better care for your loved one.
Are we there yet?
Remember, visit aarp.org/caregiving. AARP, we help you help. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
When I was little, I didn't talk for a long time. I liked things to always be the same. Anything new or different would scare and upset me. I was very sensitive to lights and sounds. It was almost like I had bigger eyes and ears than everyone else. So I built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. I didn't like looking people in the eye. It made me feel uncomfortable. I'd throw big tantrums over little things like when my socks didn't match. Sometimes I'd do the same things over and over. Until one day, I found out I had autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I learned how to live with it better.
You can see signs of autism in children as young as 18 months. Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Ranger Station, Ranger speaking.
Hi, I'd like to report a bear hug.
Uh-huh, okay.
Well, we were building a bonfire, and I saw some, dry brush and leaves around, so, I said to move the bonfire somewhere else, and out of nowhere, Smokey Bear shows up and hugs me.
So you noticed some wildfire hazards and moved your bonfire to a safer location.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Smokey, all right. He likes it when people help prevent wildfires. It hits him close to home. Not everybody gets the hug, my friend. So that's pretty special to get a hug from Smokey Bear.
So it was him. Guys, I told you it was Smokey.
Okay, well, congratulations, my friend. And thanks for calling. There are many ways to prevent a wildfire. Learn how you can do your part at smokeybear.com.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Sponsored by the U.S. Forest Service, Ad Council, and your state forester.
Hope you enjoyed your meal. And I just want to say, he's lucky to have a brother like you.
Lucky? Caring for my brother is far from easy. Waking up every day, lifting him from the bed to the wheelchair to the car to get him to therapy on time, it's no small task between the doctors and the diagnosis, but nothing can disable this love. This is my big brother, my hero. He's part of me, like my arms and legs, so I'll be his. See, there's no time for tired. This starts again tomorrow. He'll be waiting for me. I wake up for him. I know he needs me, but I'm the lucky one, even though I need help now and then.
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community, or call 877-333-5885. Caregiving Resource Center. Support for your strength. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
People been saying to your friend, get a different face, and posting on their feed, they're super ugly. The things they say to them online are cruel and they're not true. So tell your friend, I'll stand up for you. Don't worry, I know what to do. Tell the world I see with an emoji to stop the bullies.
Know someone who's being bullied online? Send the witness emoji. It looks like an eye in a speech bubble, and it's in the symbol section near the clocks in your phone. You'll let the world know it isn't cool, and you'll let your friend know you care. Learn more about the witness emoji at eyewitnessbullying.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
It may be hard to believe, but people just like you are already saving money. Feedthepig.org makes it easy. Their simple savings plan teaches you how to start saving without going overboard. So you don't need to mooch off your friends.
You gonna finish that grape?
You mean the one in my mouth?
You don't need to stop buying the necessities.
What you're smelling is a natural musk.
Ew.
You don't need to be a medical test subject.
How do you feel?
Mostly okay. Sometimes, though.
You don't need to get a second job as a stuntman.
We need a new stuntman. Let's break for lunch.
You just need an internet connection. Don't get left behind. Start your personal savings plan with the tips and tools on feedthepig.org. That way, you don't need to sell your soul to the devil.
$15 is the best I can do.
All right, deal.
Brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
When is the best time to talk to your family about staying in touch during a disaster? When floodwaters reach your door? When wildfires are engulfing the edge of your neighborhood? Or an earthquake is destroying buildings? When a tornado is tearing through town? Or a hurricane strikes? Or is the best time perhaps today? During a disaster, you may not be able to stay in touch with your family or friends as easily as you think. And it's not always as simple as using your cell phone. That's why now is the time to take action. Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait. Communicate. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
You are now about to witness the strength of street knowledge.
Number 70!
We're talking about practice.
Hello, you play to win the game.
The Yankees are champions of baseball.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
3, 2, 1, happy 2000!
No time on the clock, and the Patriots have won Super Bowl 36.
Jordan open, Chicago with the lead.
Worldwide Sports Radio Network presents Below the Mark.
Hello, Long Island, New York, and around the country. This is Below the Mic. Remember, you can call us at 631-965-4990. You could also go to our website at www.worldwidesportsradio.com. You can download our app by going to iOS, which is Apple WWSRN, or you can go to Android. And all you have to do is search it at Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Well, we're not in the studio. Well, Speedy's not in the studio. Speedy is over there in Connecticut, running the show, producing a little bit over there. I'm going to be doing practically all the work over here, but I'm used to that sometimes. Speedy, what's going on, my friends?
Yeah, I mean, you're used to it sometimes. You've produced other shows. You're not new to that by any means. You did it long before I did, so. Definitely not an issue for you.
No, it's not an issue for you. And well, for me, for you, for anybody. Anyways, we have a great show lined up for you at 6:30. We'll be talking to first guest. We're going to be talking to USC tight end recruit Lake McRee. McRee, right? Is McRee?
Yep.
Well, you need to roll. You got to put your volume up, Speedy, because it is low. And at 7:15, we'll be talking to UMass tennis player Brittany Collins. So that's who we'll be talking to at 7:15. But we do this every single Below the Mic. We do this sports and entertainment news. Here we go. Well. I'm losing my voice. 4 best trade destinations for the Clippers, Lou Williams. Well, Lou Williams, who's been the sixth man of the league really for the last couple of years. He's been a dominant player, a dominant force for the Clippers off the bench. Here's the notable thought here. I think he would fit very, very well with the Lakers. That's who I think. Also, the Pelicans are another team that needs a shooter on that team. So there are quite a few teams that'll be very intriguing places for Lou Williams. NFL news. Is it Lamar Jackson or is it the rest of the Ravens? Well, Lamar Jackson hasn't played very, very well the last couple of weeks. Maybe the NFL has figured him out. I've been saying this over and over again. A running quarterback does not last in the NFL. The question is, when you think of the big story and really the big edge here, is the Ravens going to move forward and make the playoffs? That's going to be the question. They have not looked good the last 4 weeks. They have been really, really bad. So I'm questioning if they're even going to make the playoffs. Broncos have not discussed Garrett Bowles' extension. A lot of teams aren't going to be talking extensions until the end of the season, so I'm not surprised about that. Tension between Tom Brady and Bruce Arians might be real. Now, I know there's stories coming out of Tampa that they're not getting along. I just think this is a press thing. I'm questioning what the press is trying to do with this Tampa Bay Buccaneer team. But the question is, if it is true, how is this team going to move forward if the coach and Tom Brady are not getting along? Go ahead, Speedy.
Yeah, that's definitely something that you don't want to have right before the playoffs either. I mean, Brady's only on a 1-year deal where maybe that's not going to happen to re-sign him. But if going into the playoffs, that's not going to be good either for them.
Russell Wilson tells Ciara that she might get pregnant again while promoting their RNC fragrance. What does that have anything to do with football? I mean, if she's going to get pregnant, I guess they're going to be getting it on, I guess. I don't understand how that has anything to do with sports. Colts place Buckner on reserve COVID-19 list. I mean, Buckner coming down with COVID-19. So he's going to have to sit out for 2 weeks or 10 days. So that's a big part of their defense moving forward.
That's huge, especially in the week now. Guess who the running back they got to face this week? Derrick Henry. Have fun with that without Buckner.
NBA rumors and news, a crazy blockbuster trade, Ben Simmons to the Clippers for Russell Westbrook to the 76ers and Paul George to the Rockets. Speedy, what do you think about that?
It's interesting. I like it from the Sixers standpoint. Getting Russell Westbrook, a veteran leader, that ends up helping out. He's, again, different type of player than Simmons, but kind of similar skill set wise. I don't really like it for the Clippers though. I mean, why are you trying to take on Simmons to go with Kawhi Leonard, who he's had trouble with other players in Philadelphia? So I don't know if that's going to be really a good fit, and makes no sense for the Rockets. If they're going to purge assets, they don't really need Paul George. You want to rebuild.
Buddy Hield liked a tweet that sure made it seem he's unhappy with the Clippers. I mean, who's writing these stories? Just get to the point. I'm reading the story. Get to the damn point. Buddy Hield is unhappy over there with the Sacramento Kings, so trade him. That's all I'm going to say. If he's not happy there, trade him. Okay, this is ridiculous. These long stories. Clippers agreed to deal with Kai Bowman. What do you think, Speedy?
Interesting fit. He was a decent player his rookie year. Nice player at Boston College as a college player, and he was okay with the Warriors when the Warriors had all those injuries this season. So definitely good for depth. We'll see how he fits though with Tyronn Lue, the great basketball coach that he is. Not.
Does Bam Adebayo extension mean that he can't get Giannis? Yes, it does. $195 million. That's a significant amount of money for a big man. I don't know if they're going to be able to fit Giannis in their salary cap. So I do believe that they don't believe they're going to get Giannis. So that's definitely. LeVar Ball wants $200 million to play Michael Jordan on a one-on-one game. That's not going to happen. MLB rumors and news, ladies and gentlemen. Rockies and Reds swap Jeff Hoffman for Robert Stevenson. What do you think, Speedy?
Again, minor deal. I like Stevenson. I think he could definitely be a helpful fit for a Rockies team that always needs pitching. But I mean, not really a big deal otherwise. I can't really see them having impact players right away. The Reds, they're a team I like on the rise, so it definitely could help, but it's not going to be a big piece either way.
Diamondbacks release veteran right-handed pitcher Junior Guerrera. Not a story. Top landing spot and a trade package for Rays. Blake Snell. Well, there is one team right now in New York that'll be looking for him. It's not the New York Mets. It's the New York Yankees. I think that's a perfect spot for Blake Snell. The Yankees have a good farm system. I think that Tampa Bay would be very intrigued and very interested in some of their players. They have some players I'm sorry. Who's the guy that hurt himself? The third baseman. I'm sorry. Third baseman a couple of years ago. Andahar. Speedy, you're no good. You're no help over here. Andahar, who hasn't played all season in the 60-game season, I could see Andahar and a couple of players in a package. He's a player that could play every day on this team, so I could see that happening. Andahar is a cheap player too, so that's something interesting. They could also move another player, another young pitcher on their farm. Maybe a Jordan Montgomery. Pirates claim pitcher Ashton Goodell, destination Will Craig for assignment. Designate Will Craig for assignment. Speedy.
Again, minor players. The Pirates are trying to rebuild. They're just trying to get all the young players they can get. So designating some veteran guys.
Last off, NHL news. Bob Nicholson hopes World Juniors can boost morale during an uncertain time. What do you think about that?
I mean, maybe. I mean, we're getting the Olympics next year in the summer, and for the winter. Again, there's a lot of countries that love hockey. That would definitely be something that they could boost. Again, it's kids too, and it's definitely something that could boost a lot of the fans, especially with the hockey season possibly coming back too. That's definitely something that could help. And again, with the draft, we don't know when it's going to be. It's going to be a big chance for these kids to prove themselves too.
Well, that's sports and entertainment news. It's very hard to do this when Speedy's over there in Connecticut because I can't really concentrate on the reading and everything like that. But nevertheless, I will say this. There's a lot of stuff going on in the world. There's a lot of sports going on in the world. So I'm not surprised that there are stories coming out from all different organizations that, sports might be held up this year. I don't know. All in all, what is going to happen moving forward with the NFL season and really what's going to happen with the NBA and the NHL season too, because Gary Bettman has come out and said that the season might not start on time. They might not play an 82-game season. So I'm not surprised that there's a lot of backlash going on in professional sports, not only with the ownership, but the commissioner of baseball. So, Speedy, what do you think about that?
Yeah, again, at some point you're going to have to sacrifice in terms of the shortened season, and that goes for all these sports. The NBA is already kind of doing it to an extent with what their plan is for this year, starting December 22nd, and the NHL is probably going to have to do it at some point too. I know Gary Bettman wants an 82-game season, but that doesn't mean it's necessarily realistic to the extent of, because the draft has already been shifted, because there's a lack of training camp. That's going to make it very hard. And if you do it next year, then you do it next year. At some point, the players have to sacrifice and say, all right, we have to go into this kind of season.
Well, everybody wonders why I want to get into this. And the New York Jets is a big story right now in New York with the whole Adam Gase situation. And there are stories coming out from the Jets organization, Joe Douglas. Obviously, Joe Douglas is not going to come out and say that he's looking at other coaches, but there is a coach that has his eye in his radar, and that's Northwestern Fitzgerald. Now, I don't know much about him. I really don't. I know he's been over there in Northwestern. He played for Northwestern in college. He's been the coach there for a while. He's been a very successful coach in Northwestern. The question is he the right fit for the New York Jets? And I don't know if this story is 100% true. I do believe there's some kind of truth to this story, that they are interested in Fitzgerald. They're also interested in the Iowa State coach, who's very intriguing, not only here in the NFL, some of these teams. Fitzgerald was actually there were teams that wanted to interview Fitzgerald last year, and he declined to interview with some of those teams. The same thing with Iowa State's head coach. Who's the Iowa State head coach? I'm sorry.
Matt Campbell is the Iowa State head coach.
Get your mic up or something. Get your mic up or something like that, because you are muffled over there. But who was it?
Matt Campbell is the Iowa State head coach.
Well, it's your internet, so unfortunately, your internet's not that good. But Matt Campbell is a guy that the Jets are also interested in. Now, the question to a lot of Jet fans is, do you bring in a coach that has coached in the NFL, has been a coach in the NFL, like a Jim Harbaugh, or maybe Caldwell, or Eric Bieniemy, who's an offensive coordinator? A lot of people think could be the next big head coach in the NFL, being that he's been under Andy Reid for the last 5-6 years. That's something that is definitely interesting. I know O'Brien, who was fired by the Texans, is going to be looking for an offensive coordinator job. I don't think a head coaching job, but I think he's definitely a guy that the Jets could look at as an offensive coordinator moving forward in the offseason, whoever they bring in. I don't believe the Jets are going to bring in a defensive coordinator as a head coach. They've gone that route over the years with the Herm Edwards, the Eric Manginis, the Rex Ryans. It didn't work out. Even Todd Bowles. So it hasn't worked out. It hasn't worked out with an offensive coordinator over there right now in Adam Gase either. So to me, when you look at the big picture with the New York Jets, it's kind of iffy where the Jets are going to go in the offseason as a head coach. I know a lot of people think that Adam Gase is going to keep his job. He's not keeping his job. He's not. I don't care what anybody thinks right now. In the big picture, the New York Jets do not want to keep Adam Gase there. Now, they're going to say, well, why haven't they fired Adam Gase? Who are they going to give the reins to? Greg Williams, that have thrown the organization and the head coach under the bus the last couple of weeks? I mean, they're not going to give it to a guy that's going to take shots at the organization and really the head coach that's running the team right now. So I think they're going to stick with Adam Gase until the end of the season. Black Monday is right around the corner. I do believe Adam Gase will be fired right after week 17. I do believe that after the Patriots game, win or lose, Adam Gase, you're going to hear stories coming out of the Jets that they are going to let go of Adam Gase. But go ahead.
I think the Jets, regardless of who their quarterback is, they have to go for an offensive coach. And we've said it all the time. Bieniemy is the best one. I think definitely the most deserving of that position, no matter who the quarterback is. Whether it's Fields, whether it's Lawrence, whether they try to hang on to Sam Darnold, that's going to be the guy to look for. And again, that's the trend of the game too. We don't see a lot of defensive coaches getting hired now. And outside of Atlanta, I don't think you're going to see any other teams hire defensive coaches because it's just not the trend. And you're right. Definitely a lot of those college coaches could be in the mix. Matt Campbell is definitely interesting because he's been up for interviews for NFL jobs for the last 3 years too, kind of like what Kingsbury was for a while too. And then Kingsbury obviously got Arizona's job. So Campbell's another one that's highly touted. I was telling this to Josh yesterday. I'm still not crazy about Fitzgerald. He's a decent offensive mind, and he's had Northwestern ranked at times. They're number 8 right now, but still not a guy that I think is.
No, but here's the problem with you, Speedy. The problem with you, and I say this all the time. You're looking at where he is coaching. It doesn't matter where he's coaching because we've seen coaches come from really small divisions, really small leagues, and have been successful in the NFL, have been successful in the NHL, the NBA. We've seen this before. I don't know why you're looking at, well, he comes from Northwestern. He comes from an easy division, a division that nobody even talks about. It's a D1 division, okay? It's not a huge D1 division. They don't win a national title game, but how many national title champion coaches have come to the NFL and become successful? The answer is not many. Not many.
No, I'm not even judging like that.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. I saw your texts when you were texting Josh. I was on the phone with him. I saw what you said. Look at the division he's in. He's not in a major conference. That has nothing to do with the coaching. That has nothing to do with coaching, Speedy. So you can go and make your arguments to whatever you said. I saw what you wrote. And it's wrong. It's completely wrong because it doesn't matter where Fitzgerald's coming from. It doesn't matter where Campbell is coming from. It doesn't matter if it's Jim Harbaugh. Just because Jim Harbaugh is coaching for Michigan, he's a better pick than Fitzgerald. That's wrong. That is absolutely wrong.
Jim Harbaugh's also had success though in the NFL though too. So
what does that have anything to do with Fitzgerald? Because Fitzgerald's never had success because he never wanted to coach an NFL team. He's had opportunities. He's had opportunities to interview for positions. He's decided not to. Now he has the opportunity to possibly interview for the Jets. Why not bring in a guy that has no background in the NFL? He has had success in college football, and maybe bring in a guy that nobody would have expected, and maybe be successful. Did anybody think Joe Judge was going to be a success story for the New York Giants? So far, so good. I mean, you could say whatever you want, and I'm one of those guys that'll take back everything I said about Joe Judge. He has been a lightning rod for the New York Giants, an absolute lightning rod for the New York Giants. So anybody that thinks that a Fitzgerald or a Campbell or anybody, you could bring him from a Pee-wee league, okay? If he's a good coach and he's proven to be a good coach, he'll be a good coach in the NFL. All he has to do is make sure that these guys are going to follow his lead moving forward. There are a lot of coaches. Did anybody think that Kingsbury was going to be a good coach in the NFL? The answer is no. Okay, and he's still on that bracket to think that he's not going to be a good head coach in the NFL. But all in all, he was very right. He was right to get rid of the quarter. What's his name again? I'm sorry.
Josh Rosen.
Talk a little bit on your mic and speak a little bit more thoroughly in your mic. Josh Rosen, he was right to get rid of Josh Rosen and draft Kyler Murray. Why? Because Kyler Murray is up for an MVP right now. He's played very solid in his first 2 seasons as an NFL player. And now you're seeing the growth of what this team could be moving forward. And that has a lot to do with Kingsbury. He is the head coach. Say whatever you want, Kyler Murray or no Kyler Murray. Kingsbury is running the show. And he is the guy. He's the front guy. And if they're winning, they're going to give him a lot of credit. If they're losing, they're going to take shots at him. They are winning. And because they're winning, you can't give it all to Kyler Murray and what this defense is and how special they have looked, early in the season and now moving forward at the end of the season. So Kingsbury has been successful so far as a head coach, Speedy.
Mm-hmm. No, he has been so far. You're right. He's not in that upper tier yet. He's not top.
You didn't like him. You didn't like him. You didn't like Kingsbury? I didn't. All right. And a lot of guys that you didn't like, Speedy, were not successful. And a lot of guys that you didn't like were successful, and a lot of guys that you did like were not successful in the NFL.
That's any coaching.
But that's why. How could you come out and say, well, I don't think Fitzgerald will be a good fit in the NFL? How would you know? Because he's never coached in the NFL.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I think in terms of the Big Ten coaching style, there's a big difference between
that. Doesn't matter. That doesn't matter
in terms of what you see at the NFL level right now. That's why Cliff Kingsbury, even though you're right, it wasn't a successful Texas Tech head coach. He was 7-7 pretty much every year, or not even below that. But his offensive style, that kind of Big 12 style, is transitioning into the NFL. That's why somebody like Lincoln Riley, even though I don't like him, he's getting a lot of hype because of that Oklahoma style offense. All these Oklahoma quarterbacks are coming in. That kind of thing makes a difference. The Big 10 plays football differently, and even though they're a far better conference than the Big 12, some of those guys just haven't transitioned into the NFL, obviously outside of Harbaugh. But remember, Harbaugh was hired from Stanford in the Pac-12, where we've seen the kind of success rate a lot more. Pete Carroll from USC, same kind of thing.
I think it makes a lot of sense to bring in a guy that nobody expects. The reason why is I think Joe Douglas needs to really dig deep on finding the future head coach of this team. It hasn't worked year in and year out. The Jets have had, I think the number is 14 coaches in the last 20 years. Knowing that you have 14 coaches in the last 20 years, you had Rex Ryan for 5 years. The rest, I mean, Eric Mangini was there for 2. Herm Edwards was there for about 4. I mean, the Jets have not been successful with the coaching with the organization. So I think looking at the big picture, and at the end of the season, when Adam Gase gets fired, Joe Douglas has to do his due diligently. And he's got to go out there and interview Fitzgerald, Campbell, Harbaugh, whoever you can get your hands on, and choose the guy that fits the direction of where this team is going to go in the future. I think it's a big spot for right now. The New York Jets, say whatever you want about the organization and who's running the organization and who owns the organization. The Jets are a hot spot to go to. And the reason why is they have the number 1 pick. That right now they have the number 1 pick in the draft, which could be Trevor Lawrence. Even if they fall to number 2, it could be Justin Fields. And they have a ton of draft stock moving forward with the Jamal Adams trade, and possibly trading Sam Darnold for a first or a second round draft pick to really extend the early rounds where they can get a top talent in early in the round. So you're looking at the big picture for the New York Jets. The Jets are in a good spot, and they have a huge amount of money that they could spend in the offseason to bring in Allen Robinson to help them out in the wide receiver position, some offensive line talent, help, or some defensive line help moving forward. So the Jets are set up really, really good moving forward.
Pass rushers, I think, definitely, especially what you saw in this last market with Everson Griffin having trouble getting a contract, Jadeveon Clowney having trouble getting a contract, Vic Beasley, guys like that. You're seeing that they're valuing based on recent success rather than actual talent. But the Jets, if they stockpile a bunch of those types of guys, could end up forming a better pass rush, or at least a competent enough pass rush to go with the rest of their defense too. And I think that's going to be an area outside of Robinson, because you're absolutely right, that should be target number 1. Pass rush after that, I think, will be where they focus on.
Allen Robinson will be their number 1 target. I promise you guys. Everybody thinks I'm crazy. I mean, a lot of people are going to be looking for Allen Robinson because he's a top wide receiver in the league. He's a very talented kid. He's still fairly young. He's 27 years old. I think he's got at least 4 years of good football left if he can stay healthy. Julio Jones might be available this offseason in a trade where you could probably get him for a 4th or 5th round draft pick from Atlanta. Atlanta's going to be rebuilding now with a new head coach. So there's a lot of opportunity for the Jets to add that second tier or first tier wide receiver to help out Denzel Mims and Jamison Crowder moving forward with possibly a rookie quarterback. So the Jets are in good shape. When we come back, ladies and gentlemen, we will get into, when we come back, we're going to have a special guest. But later in the show, we're going to get into some New York Knicks conversation. Who are the Knicks going to be going after? I mean, John Wall is a name that is slowly but surely starting to sneak out there where the Knicks can make a move from for the Washington guard, or Russell Westbrook. So there's a lot of talk that these two guys could be a New York Knick in the very near future. When we come back, we have a very special guest. We're going to be talking to USC recruit tight end Lake McRee here on Below the Mic.
Great moments are born.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Hi, this is Terry Crews, actor, former football player, game show host, father of 5, and all-around big dude. I'm also an expert on drama. I know all kinds of drama. There's the good kind that comes with having a house full of kids. There's the bad kind, like season-ending injuries. There's the necessary kind, like having an agent in Hollywood. And there's silly drama, like the drama around my percolating pectorals. And then there's the drama you can skip.
Skip the drama that comes with not having your high school diploma or equivalency. Find free adult education classes near you and finish your high school diploma. Visit finishyourdiploma.org.
Or text diploma to 97779. Message and data rates may apply. Reply STOP to opt out. That's diploma to 97779. And leave the drama to actors like me.
Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes?
How could he do this to you? And for Sheila, she has split ends.
B, console her.
Oh, sweetie, this is going to happen a lot. 4, maybe 5 more times before you get married.
C, take charge.
Got to get this all straightened out. Keep a little talking to, man to man, mano a mano. Hey, Steve. It's now a good time? No? Okay, no problem. Bye.
Or D, help her find a new boyfriend.
I know a great place to meet boys. The internet. Nice, single boys. Never mind. How about some ice cream?
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Below the Mic. We are live every single Wednesday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. New York Eastern Time. Remember, you can call us at 631-965-4990. You can also go to our website at www.worldwidesportsradio.com. Download our app, ladies and gentlemen, by going to iOS, WWSRN, or Android, Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Well, it's not easy doing this simulcastly with Speedy over there in Connecticut. It never is. I hate producing the show because I can't really concentrate on the content of the show, but it is what it is, right, Speedy? Mm-hmm. 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 You hear that? You hear that? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, anyways, it's a great show, and I'm very excited to get this guy on. I actually grew up watching USC play. Matt Leinart, Reggie Bush, when they were a talented team, Pete Carroll running the team and pushing the team the way he has over the years. And yes, two championships, 2 national champions. I don't care if they were cheating or not. It's 2 national championships. But we have a USC recruit, and we are now talking to tight end recruit for USC, Lake McRee. What's going on, Mr. McRee?
Doing good. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, man. I was happy because Jillian actually told me we've been interviewing so many different recruits around, in top 100 recruits from 2021 and 2022, and a lot of them were tight ends. And it's amazing, hearing the sizes of some of these guys. Some of them are 6'8", 6'7", 6'6", 230 pounds, could run a 40 and 4'7", 4'8". It's ridiculous. So my question for you first is, how are you and your family doing with this pandemic?
We're doing good. I mean, it almost feels like it's reality at this point with how long it's been going on, but we're hanging on and staying safe.
Well, and how about you doing this whole Zoom recruitment? I mean, to me, talking to a lot of these different recruits, and it's not easy because when I was recruited as a hockey player, I went to college to talk to the coaches, interview with the coaches, them come to me, sit down with me and my family, have conversations about why I should go to their school, the academics, all that different crazy crap. So how is it different now doing your recruitment and over Zoom? What is the difference between going over there or talking to the coaches face to face or doing it on Zoom?
Well, I mean, I think the most obvious one is you can't see the campus firsthand if you've never been there. So they kind of just have to show you everything virtually. I've been on many virtual tours this past couple of months before I ended up making my decision. So I think that's really a big one is you don't get to see the facilities. You don't get to see kind of where it is, what's around it, and kind of the entire environment. So I think that was something that really affected me and made my decision a little bit harder. But you also don't know how much the coaches are really into you, and you can really tell in person by their body language, and how many coaches are really trying to come up and introduce themselves to you, and how much you actually mean to them. So those are two things that you have to look over because of all the Zoom stuff, because it's a whole nother world.
Was there anything specific about Coach Clay Helton that really swayed you to pick USC over some of the other schools you were recruited by, including Texas, including Alabama, Arizona State, or some of the other ones too? Was there anything specific with Helton?
Yeah, I mean, it's not just Coach Helton. I mean, with such a big decision, there's so many moving factors like location, education, and then just the football program. So, I mean, I feel like the coaching staff at USC really took their time. They would get me on a Zoom call 2 or 3 times a week and just break down film, how I'd fit in the offense, and how the offense really worked. And that was actually really helpful for me to see, because I could see it was really similar to the Lake Travis style of offense, which is where I go to high school now. So that was really cool for me to see. So it was Coach Helton and their entire coaching staff just really making it easy for me.
As you guys know, we are talking to USC tight end recruit Lake McRee. Now, Lake, first of all, that's a unique name. I mean, obviously you were named after a lake, right? Am I right?
I don't really know where that name came from, but my dad was a pretty big water skier, so I'm sure that had something to do with it.
Was he a professional water skier?
I'll say, right?
I don't know what a professional water skier is, so I have water skied before. It is actually really, really fun, by the way.
Oh yeah, it's a blast.
Absolutely. So, Blake, the tight end position is really transformed into a wide receiver position. You guys are the big guys on campus. I mean, now you're looking at tight ends making $70, $80 million a year, almost as much as a wide receiver is in the NFL. When you look at the position and really the transition of the position now in college football to the NFL, where do you see your game? What is the strength of your game that really stands out at that position? And is your game does your game fit the NFL style?
Well, I think my game, what my strengths are is being as big as I am, around like 6'5", 225. I can run routes pretty well. So I've been working out with a receiver coach to train me as a receiver, and then I can also block very well. So I think that's my strength, is you can kind of put me anywhere on the field and I'll have success there. And I mean, I do try to model my game after, like, let's say Travis Kelce, George Kittle, those type of guys. So I know I have the potential to have the NFL body type, but I definitely need to fill out a little more and put a little more weight on me.
I can help you with that. You know that? I can help you with that. Actually, I'm serious. I work out. I was a semi-pro athlete growing up playing hockey. I was going to be a professional hockey player before I hurt my knee. And after I hurt my knee, and I was deep into the gym, not only boxing and mixed martial arts, I really got deep into the gym. I gained like 70 pounds of and most of it is muscle, believe it or not. When I graduated from high school, I was 125 pounds, Lake. I was a thin rail. I was a fast hockey player. I could play any position. And when I was getting recruited by New Hampshire. I was recruited by Maine and Niagara. I chose Niagara because I was going to be redshirted on both those teams, because usually you don't play until your second year in college hockey.
Right.
So it was really, really hard, because if I put on a little bit more size, I think I probably would have went to play junior hockey 1 year, and then I probably would have went in the NHL draft. So the size of you kids, I mean, it's unbelievable. The athletic ability, some of you kids coming out from college, being that you're 6'5", 225 pounds, you run like a cheetah, you jump like a kangaroo. I don't know. I mean, it's unbelievable, the athletic ability you kids have. So what is your strength? I mean, everybody's got a strength. Are you good at running routes? You said you're good at running routes. Do you have great hands? Are you fast? Are you a good blocker? Or are you good at all those things? And really, you're that next breed of tight end that's going to be going to the NCAA or college football.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I have to be. I'm pretty confident, so I think I'm good at all those things. But if there's something that stood out, I think I can jump pretty high, because I always played basketball, so working on your vertical was pretty crucial, and I always loved dunking, so I always tried to work on anything that would make my vertical higher. So I think that's something that really stands out.
A white guy that can dunk, ladies and gentlemen. What? I mean, seriously, how many NBA players that are white that can dunk? Not many. So we got one over here. So if football doesn't work out for you, maybe the NBA will.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm actually good at basketball. I'm just maybe see me in the dunk contest, but that's about it.
You're going to a good school with a good basketball program.
Yeah, that's true.
And just went number 6 overall too for the Atlanta Hawks.
That's true.
So, Lake, I want to go back. I want to go back to the recruitment thing because you're from Texas, and Texas and UFC have that big rivalry, and with the national championship game back in 05-06. Was there any like strange reactions to family and friends that maybe are Texas Longhorns fans, and were they kind of annoyed that you made that decision over choosing Texas or even choosing Alabama or something like that?
No, I mean, I was originally committed to Texas, as y'all probably know, but I think, I mean, I still have all love for Texas. Texas has been one of my favorite schools growing up, and it's always a school I've looked up to because, hometown college. That's the goal right there. But yeah, I mean, stepping back from that commitment definitely wasn't an overnight thing. It was multiple months talking with my parents, talking with my coaches, and just getting advice from people that had gone through something like this. So I definitely say that they weren't annoyed, and someone who like really looked into it and saw what I would have got at Texas, I could have I would have done better in other programs. So no, I really don't feel like any of my friends or family was annoyed by the decision, and I hope I have no bad blood with any of the Texas fans because I got all love for them. So.
Oh, stop it. You're going to USC. You have a better chance to succeed in USC. The Texas Longhorns haven't done anything in forever. Let's be honest. I know you're a Longhorn fan, but they haven't done anything. I mean, USC, at least they've played in national title games recently. They're amongst, I would say they're ranked higher right now than the Longhorns. Are they not, Speedy?
Yeah, they're 3-0 right now.
Yeah,
so.
they were last time I checked, because Texas has 3 losses right now. And
yeah, you made the right choice, Lake. You absolutely did, and you have a better chance right now with the coaching over there to succeed and possibly be an NFL player in the future. So I think you made the right choice. As you guys know, we are talking to USC. Yes, not the Longhorns. USC tight end recruit Lake McRee. Listen, I'm a ball buster, Lake. So I know you're a Longhorn fan, but I like taking shots at the Longhorns. I don't know what it is, but I know Texas. They have the best high school programs in the country. All the great players come from Texas. They really do. It's Texas. Over here on the East Coast, it's usually Florida or New Jersey. On the West Coast, they're in weird things, like weird places like Oklahoma and Oregon. They're not in California, and not a lot of good football players come from California. I don't know what it is. They're mainly basketball players that come from California. Then they do a football players. It's a big state, but it doesn't make any sense. So let me ask you this question. And obviously you were committed to the Longhorns, and then you decided to take it back and go to USC. When you look at college football as a whole, with everything that's going on with COVID-19, and right now they're playing half the games instead of a full slate, and next year where you're going to be a recruit and you're going to have the opportunity to possibly play next year, do you think that the NCAA is going to do the same thing they did this year and kind of cut half the season out, or do you believe that moving forward it would be at the best interest of some of you young players and college football that they play a full season?
I mean, well, I think we've all seen in this year, 2020 is the most unpredictable thing ever. So what I hope and what I believe are two different things. I mean, I hope we get the full season and get all the games, but I really don't know what to believe because our games out here just got postponed as well. So it's just a roller coaster because we weren't supposed to have a season, then we had a season, then it gets cut short. So I'm not sure what's going to happen, but I just know as long as I'm playing football that it'll be all right.
Which Pac-12 opponent are you most looking forward to facing, and why?
I'd say when I get out there, UCLA, because there's a rivalry between those two being so close and both in California. So I think that game's always hyped up, and that'll be a really fun one to play in.
Well, you're going to be playing a good friend of ours. Yes, we interviewed him, top recruit, Mr. Devin, right, Speedy? He's going to be playing him. He wants to play Devin. So you're gonna have the opportunity. He might be guarding you, man. He might be taking you on the field.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You know Devin?
What's his last name?
Kirkwood.
I don't think I know him, but is he? He's going to UCLA, I'm guessing.
He was the top 15 recruit this year. He will be playing next year with you. He was the top corner recruit coming out of your class.
Okay. Yeah.
Nice kid, man. Very funny. And he does talk a lot. So I can only imagine what he's going to do to you.
I'll look out for him.
Devin, I'm just kidding, man. As you know. As you know, we are talking to USC tight end recruit Lake McRee. Now, Lake, I see that you're a Kobe Bryant fan. Okay,
Yeah.
I see the jersey on the wall. And I know, it was a lot of stuff that happened this year. A lot of sad things that have happened. It's been probably the worst year for professional sports and really the world. I mean, everything that's going on, it's been absolutely crazy. When you heard Kobe Bryant's death, where were you and how did you mourn it?
I was actually in San Antonio, which is a city out here in Texas. I was out here with my girlfriend and her family, and we were shopping. And my friend called me, and he said that Kobe died because Kobe was both our favorite players. And I was like, I immediately thought he was kidding. I was like, whatever. And I looked it up, and I saw that it was actually true. So, I didn't really know what to do. It took a while for it to actually hit me that he was gone, because it just didn't feel real. It didn't feel real for a while. So I was really saddened by that. And it was hard.
Do you have a favorite moment for Kobe Bryant in his playing career, or even just as a person?
Well, I think I can't really say his 81-point game because I wasn't I didn't really know what basketball was and when that happened. So I have to say his last game, because I actually got to watch that and witness that and how good that was. So.
Well, you do realize that the team that he played, who did he play the last game? Was it the Nuggets?
The Jazz.
The Jazz. I'm sorry. It was the Jazz. So you do realize that Jazz practically let him shoot anywhere he wanted on the court.
60 points is 60 points.
He shot like 50 times.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
They got to win. They got to win. So
That's true. That's true. And listen, Kobe Bryant is one of the greatest basketball players of all time, but he's still not in my top 10. He's still not in my top 10. No.
Oh my God.
No. You're young. You're young. A lot of you young fellows don't understand. I mean, there are so many great players that came. Oscar Robertson. You think Kobe Bryant was as good as Oscar Robertson?
No.
I mean, there was a lot of great players that, I never even got a chance to, I'm 38 years old. I'm a little bit older than you and Speedy over there. Speedy's 25. You're 18, 17 years old. You guys are kids. So you never watched Eldon Baylor. I never saw him. I mean, I saw Larry Bird play and Mark Parrish and you guys really didn't get to experience the best time of basketball with some of the greatest basketball players of our era. So unfortunately, but hey, listen, Kobe Bryant, you know where I rated Kobe Bryant in my list? I rated him 16. That's where I rated him.
Yeah, that's pretty disrespectful.
No, it's not. I mean, Kobe Bryant averaged 24 points a game. Okay, 24 points a game. He averaged, I think, if I'm not mistaken, 7 rebounds or 6 rebounds, 6.4 rebounds a game, and about 4 assists. Okay, if you want to compare and contrast his numbers to an NBA player right now that is a borderline Hall of Famer, that's Carmelo Anthony. Those are the same numbers that Carmelo Anthony has. Now, Carmelo Anthony hasn't won. He hasn't won a championship. But you can compare Carmelo Anthony's numbers to Kobe Bryant's. Now, I'm not saying he's Kobe Bryant. I'm not comparing Carmelo Anthony to Kobe Bryant. But that's what I'm saying. When you're looking at some of the players, basketball is completely different now in this era, which has become a more offensive era with Steph Curry shooting those threes and Klay Thompson shooting. It's completely different. So I respect Kobe Bryant. I think Kobe Bryant was one of the greatest athletes of the last 10, 15 years. I just don't think the way I look at some of these players in NBA history, I don't put Kobe Bryant in my top 10. I just don't. Shaquille O'Neal changed the game. He did. He changed the game. He was the diesel. He changed the game. He was a big man that could dominate the paint the way he did. You're going to tell me that Kobe Bryant was a better player than Shaquille O'Neal at the top of his game?
I think Kobe's better, yeah.
Of course you do. You're a Kobe fan. I'm not going to take a shot at it. You're a Kobe fan. A lot of Kobe fans take shots at me and say, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, but it's the truth. If you can compare and contrast the numbers and you look at some of the numbers, even the guys that are in the NBA right now, you can look at some of the guys that are right now playing. Klay Thompson, I mean, he has almost similar numbers. Is he better than Kobe Bryant? I wouldn't say he is, but Klay Thompson's looked at as one of the best players in the league. So that's all I'm saying. As you guys... I'm sorry.
Before we get to that, we actually had a guest a couple months ago, Ty Felton, and he was talking about Kobe Bryant at the end of his interview, and then his mother actually came in.
Oh yes,
the Kobe fan too, and her and Errol had a pretty interesting discussion with that.
She wanted to kill me. She wanted to choke me, but that's all right. I mean, listen, I just because I don't put Kobe in my top 10 doesn't mean that I don't think Kobe was a great player. I put him at 16. That's high in my book. I mean, you should see the players I put in front of him. Some of the greatest of all time. Guys that you probably never even heard of, Lake. So, again, unfortunately, some of you young guys you never really watched or you never really done the background of where the NBA came from and some of these players that we've, that slowly but surely, the Wilt Chamberlains, the Oscar Robertsons, the Bill Russells, all those guys, you can't tell me that Kobe Bryant was better than them. I mean, they completely revolutionized the game. But anyways, this is not about Kobe Bryant. This is about you. As you guys know, we're talking to USC tight end recruit Lake McRee. So, Lake, I know you talked to our social media manager, Jillian, and I know she told you we're going to ask you some silly questions. Okay. And I hope you're ready for this.
I'm ready.
All right. So all the recruits answer these to a T. After we ask you these 3 questions, you have the opportunity to ask us any question you want. You got 3 questions you can ask any one of us or both of us. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. First question. Boxers or briefs and why?
Is briefs like the compression ones?
Yeah, you could say that. The compressions around your legs. Yeah, it gives you a little breathing room.
I never wear boxers.
Oh, well, you're smart. You're a really smart guy. It's funny. I talk to all you young guys, and when we were kids, boxer, when we wore our cups, the way it was set up, you had to wear it over your boxers or you just wear it butt-ass naked. And it was the worst. It was worse. Now you guys have boxer briefs shaped as jock straps that you can put the cups inside your jock strap. It's awesome. I mean, come on, man. The tighter around your leg. I'm sorry. The more it hangs, the worse it is, especially as football players. I mean, come on, man. It's like a speed bag, a boxing speed bag. You know what I mean? Speedy, you know all about that, right?
Sure, we'll go with that.
All right. Question number 2. Your favorite snack to eat before a game and why?
I have to go with trail mix. I just like the taste of it, and it's not horrible for you. It's actually pretty good for you. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm gonna go with trail mix.
Now you like the ones with the M&Ms in them?
Yeah, so it's not the healthiest type. It's got the chocolate and M&Ms, but
Oh, I love them too, man. I used to eat them when I was a kid too. You know what it is, because your coach. I used to love Baby Ruths. So the funny story is, I used to hide my Baby Ruths in the back of my hockey socks. And before, if I needed a sugar rush, I don't like Gatorade at the time. I didn't like Gatorade or Powerade. I just drank water. So I would sit in the bench and I would hide myself in the corner and I would start eating a Baby Ruth. I was doing like a Mark Sanchez in that time, eating a hot dog on the sidelines. I ate a Baby Ruth.
Okay.
In the game. It was very embarrassing. And one time I accidentally, I didn't finish it, and I wanted to hide it from my coach, so it stuck to the inner part of my sock. Oh. And during the game, all the peanuts came out from the sock onto the ice. It was very interesting. I was very surprised that my coach didn't see that, but first of all, I couldn't get it off my hockey socks, so I had to throw the hockey socks out. So just a long story of Baby Ruth and my Baby Ruth story. So there you go. Question 3. Blondes or brunettes and why? I know you got a girlfriend.
Yeah, so I got to say blondes.
Oh, you got to say blondes.
I feel like I would.
What's your girlfriend's name, by the way?
Her name is Carly, and I feel like I'd be in trouble if I didn't say blondes. So.
All right. How long you been with Carly?
Over a year. I say like a year and 2 months or something like that.
Really? Where is she planning to go to school?
She's undecided right now, so she doesn't really know.
And you live in Texas, so do you think that she would go all the way to California to be closer to you, or?
I'm not sure. I just I hope that she just does what's best for her. So.
Oh, you're a good boyfriend. I like this. Oh, yeah, all right, all right. Now you hear that, Carly? You got a good man. You got a good man. You know, Speedy. You know, we're trying to get Speedy a girl. I don't know. It's taking a while. It's taking a while, but one of these days we'll find somebody, right, Speedy?
No, I don't have as much to choose from as what Lake's gonna have at USC. Even though
Oh,
he already has a girlfriend.
no, he's got a girlfriend. He's not. You can't say anything on live radio. He'll get himself
Not
into trouble.
encouraging it. I know you have a girlfriend.
Why would you do that, Speedy? Why would you do that to this kid? I mean, he's got a beautiful girlfriend, and he doesn't want to throw himself under the bus. You know, there's Thanksgiving tomorrow. He's going to spend some time with her. Could you imagine him tell you that he's got all these beautiful? By the way, I've seen some of the USC girls. They're beautiful. I've been to USC, by the way. I'm not trying to get you in trouble. I'm just telling you the truth, Blake.
This is a real awkward Thanksgiving now. Thanks, guys.
All right, so ask us whatever you want, Lake.
How long have y'all been doing this for? I think that's my main question.
I've been in this business for 10 years. I used to work at CBS as an executive producer in NBC. I've been on the radio for a very long time. After hurting my knee and my pro sports career was over, I decided that I wanted to do something that really brought sports together in one. And I love entertaining people. I've been all over the world as a DJ. So about 7-8 years ago, after I left NBC and CBS, I decided to start a radio station. And I started one of the popular digital sports radio shows in the country on Twitter. I was the number one and number two ranking for the first 2 years on Twitter. We were drawing about 40 to 50,000 fans. And then we decided to spread the wealth and build a network. It took a while to figure things out and building numbers, but all in all, that's how it started. Speedy he graduated from Connecticut, reached out to me 1,000,000 times, Lake, before I answered him. And he said he wanted to come and work for me. And he's been working with me ever since. Right now he's in Connecticut with his family for Thanksgiving. It's terrible. I'm producing and doing all the work over here. So I want to smack Speedy when he gets back here. So there you go. Speedy, how long have you been doing it?
You would want to smack me anyway, just because you like it.
Damn right I do.
Yeah, I've been here with this station since August of 2017. I actually came in, like Errol was saying, I did a kind of an air test thing in July of that year. So I've been.
It was terrible, Lake. Terrible, absolutely terrible. But you know what?
That's why I'm still here. I'm stuck here.
I like taking on challenges, and Speedy has grown with us, and he's become a very good worker, not only for the network, but for what we do as a product and what we do putting our product out there. We're on 103.9 here on Long Island. We are one of the big news broadcasting stations on the FM dial, and we're working on something really, really big coming up. So it's been great. It's been a great story, and I'm hoping that in the future, we'll come to your draft class. We'll meet all you great young guys, and I'll become your agent, and we'll move forward with that.
Yes, sir. Sounds like a deal.
Next question, my friends.
Well, I was gonna say how y'all met, but I guess that was kind of through.
You don't want to meet me, man. I actually you do, because I'm a crazy person. I like to have fun. I like to mess around. I never take anything seriously. I really never do. With my girlfriend, really with life, I just don't take anything seriously.
Just like your top rankings of NBA players.
Top rankings of NBA players.
All time or current?
I'm just saying, if you have Kobe at 16, you definitely don't take it seriously.
Oh, stop, Lake! Come on, man. I mean, again, you some of these older players you don't even know of. Do you know who Walt Frazier is?
I'm not gonna get into it. I'm not.
Don't you worry.
All right. What's the next question, my friend? Last one.
How did y'all? What came about? Is I want to go interview Lake. Like how'd that come about?
That's a good question. When I brought in our social media managers and Ricky and Jillian, I told them to reach out to some of the recruits. We've interviewed NFL players and NHL players and NBA players. I've interviewed, you name the athlete or entertainer, musician, I've interviewed them. I've been around them. I've been in the music industry for over 20, 25 years. I mean, since I was a baby, since I was your age, I was in the music industry. And I also, in the sports industry, I've been around. I've interviewed the best athletes but you recruits really, when interviewing you guys, it really changes my mind of the next athlete. I get to learn a little bit more about you guys. You guys are young. You've never done interviews like this. A lot of these professional athletes, they've done it thousands and thousands of times. So they're like robots by answering the question. You kids, you're not robots. You like to have fun. You like to answer the question in a different kind of way. So when I reached out to Jillian and Ricky, I said, go after the young guys, go after the recruits, the top recruits in the nation. I'd love to interview them. I think they have a lot to give to the world and some of the sports fans out there that would like to get to know them. So,
okay.
So you're the next, you guys are the next big stars, when it comes to professional sports. And I love the fact, because I could say, I interviewed Lake McRee when he was going into college. He was a high school student. And then when I interview you, when you go into the NFL and I get to see you grow as a player, that's even more exciting to see what you were when we interviewed you in the beginning to now as a professional athlete. So
yeah, that's pretty cool.
I think it's really, really cool. And it gives you guys an outlook to what it's going to be like to interview with some of the best and the brightest broadcasters in the country.
Yes, sir.
So, which, you're talking to one of the greats. So that's all I'm going to say, yeah. But anyways, before we let you go, why don't you tell the fans how they can find you on social media?
You can follow me on social media. My Twitter is Lake_McRee, and then my Instagram is just Lake McRee, no caps or spaces.
Are you following us, Mr. Lake?
I'm not sure. I don't really check it that often, but I will follow you as soon as I leave this.
Well, you should follow us, man. And you got to download our app. I mean, if you're a sports fan, are you a sports fan?
I'm a big sports fan.
Oh my God, Lake, what's wrong with you, man?
I'll get on it.
I mean, what do you have, an iOS or an Android?
I got an iPhone.
An iPhone. All right. So Speedy will send you the way to search. All you got to do is search us on the iPhone in the App Store, WWSRN, Worldwide Sports Radio Network, WWSRN. So
perfect.
Speedy will send it to you. I'd love for you to follow us, man. I want to continue. I want you to be a follower of us, and I would love to interview you when you play your first year next year on USC. See how you like the school. See how you like the growth of the team and where you see the team in the future. And I want you to be a fan of the show, so we can continue getting you on, and in the future maybe being invited and invited to your draft. Your draft class, and by the way, maybe be me being your agent.
All right, yeah, for sure. I'll definitely follow y'all.
You see that, Speedy? He's giggling. He doesn't believe that I can actually get him the best contract possible.
No, you've said that to like 6 other recruits too. So you're trying to.
I am a swift guy, man. When you put me in a room as a salesman, I can get you whatever you want, buddy. So just remember that. Anyways, definitely we'd love to get you back on again if you're interested in coming back on with us.
For sure. Yes, sir.
Now, Kobe Bryant. All right. I'm going to give you, I'm going to help you out. I'll put Kobe Bryant 15. Okay. Does that make you happier?
It really doesn't. I'm not going to lie.
In my top 10. Don't worry, Lake. I'm on your side with that one.
Oh, you see that? He kisses up to you guys. He kisses up to you. All right, Lake. So, but you're 6'5", 225 pounds. You're about 6 inches bigger than me, but I think I'm a little bit heavier than you. So I might have the edge on you on that one. So I don't know if that makes a difference, but
maybe.
Lake McRee, ladies and gentlemen, USC tight end recruit. Nice kid. Really, really nice kid. Gave us some good information about the tight end position, why he chose USC and decided not to go to the Longhorns. And you want to know something? I think he made the right choice. I really do, because I think USC has built tight ends over the years and built good offensive players. Some of these offensive players have made it to the NFL and have succeeded in the NFL. So some of them haven't, as we know, Speedy. But I think Lake is a nice kid. And it's crazy because these guys are so huge. They're 17, 18 years old, and they're 6'5", 225 pounds. I mean, that kid is going to be You know, by the time he's 20 years old, 21 years old, he's going to be sick. If he doesn't grow 2 or 3 more inches, he's going to be like 6'6", 240 pounds of brute muscle. And he's going to be able to run a 40 and 4.7, 4.6. I mean, look at some of these tight ends. I mean, the Jets had Denzel Mims. Denzel Mims was 6'3". He's a wide receiver and he ran it in 4.4. I mean, it's unbelievable what these guys can run those. I mean, the athletic ability some of these kids have, Speedy.
Absolutely, especially now with the tight ends, they're getting to get close to receiver speed, or even what receiver speed used to be like as a main. They're fast now, these guys, and you're right, fast at a very young age. And Lake's going to be one of them too. And a lot of the tight ends we've interviewed, they're all really fast guys and huge right away.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's absolutely remarkable what you see some of these athletes and what they do. It's incredible, absolutely incredible. Oh man. Well, before we go to break, because we're going to have our next guest, and who do we have at 7:15, Speedy?
We have former UMass tennis player Brittany Collins, and you were explaining it to me yesterday. She has she filed a lawsuit, I think, or something like that, against the NCAA. She's trying to get her wins back after UMass vacated the wins for her program, along with some college basketball players as well. She was one of 12 people that got all that vacated. So she's trying to put something towards the NCAA.
Crazy. It's a crazy story. And I'd love to hear it from her and the story behind it. She found $200 and some odd in her bank account. She didn't know where it came from, or she probably didn't even look. And she spent it. And then the NCAA found out that she took money and then vacated all her wins, and now she's fighting for it back. I mean, she was one of the best tennis players in the country. So it's an incredible story, and she reached out to us, and I think all the fans should definitely listen to this story. I think it's a great, great story. But before we go to break, before we get her on, this whole New York Knicks, Russell Westbrook, John Wall story, and I've always liked John Wall. I've always liked him. I've always thought that when he was 100% healthy, he was one of the top 5, top 6 point guards in the NBA. Now, this guy is coming back from an Achilles injury, and we saw it. Klay Thompson from a torn ACL. Now he has an Achilles injury. Same thing when you look at Kevin Durant. We don't know what Kevin Durant's going to be when he comes back from his Achilles injury. Everybody that we've seen in professional sports that come back from an Achilles injuries usually are not as good or not as dominant as they were before the injury. I mean, that's a huge injury. It's a muscle that, when you tear it, to rebuild that muscle, it's very, very hard. It really, really is. So,
a guy his size too, and he relies on that leg to step back, make those step back threes. He's the best in the league at doing that, and has been his whole career. And even with the mid range, that's a lot to have to deal with on that Achilles for sure at his age. I mean, he's still young-ish, like he's 30, 31, but it's still a big injury this late in his career for a guy who's already had a lot of injury issues as well.
Yeah, and John Wall, I like John Wall. I think the Knicks would have to give up less for John Wall. I mean, John Wall's still under, I think, 3 or 2 more years left on his contract. It's not a significant contract like Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook's making his next 3 years, 42, 45, and 47 million his last year. I think that they can get John Wall on it cheap. I would go after John Wall. I think he would fit better in that kind of offense, in the Tom Thibodeau type of offense. Now, both of them can't really shoot, but I think that John Wall is a better shooter, legitimately a better shooter than Russell Westbrook is behind the three. So I think John Wall would fit better, and he's cheaper. I think John Wall's contract is 25, 27 a year. I mean, that would fit more with the New York Knicks, especially if they decide to bring in another player in the next year and a half. So I do believe that the Knicks have taken on big contracts because they're getting more draft picks, but not high draft picks. They're getting second-round draft picks. So, but they're trying to rebuild through the draft. I think it's a very smart move. A lot of people do not like what the Knicks did on drafting Obi Toppin because they have a cluster of forwards on the team. They got rid of a couple of them in free agency just recently. They got rid of Portis and some of the other guys, and now they want to build their team around their young, youthful players, the guys like R.J. Barrett, the Mitchell Robinsons, and now Obi Toppin. So I think John Wall would fit the best. How about you? What do you think? Russell Westbrook, John Wall?
I think John Wall definitely defensively would fit Thibodeau's defensive system like a glove. As an overall player, though, I still worry about how he's going to come back because he's been hurt a lot recently. Westbrook's been a little more durable when it comes to that. And I think Westbrook is still, again, he can't shoot, but really beyond that, he's still a fantastic all-around player. So you're right where it would be Wall if they're trying to go for maybe that stopgap point guard for the 2 years and until they draft a point guard. Yeah, that's the way to go. It depends on what you're looking for, or if you want the superstar to lure in some more superstars, somebody like Russell Westbrook. That's why you go after Russell Westbrook. So it depends on what the path is for the Knicks, if that's what they're thinking. If they know they're not going to get a superstar, maybe John Wall is the better trade to make, because you're right. They're not going to have to give up a lot because he's been wanting out for a long time. It's not just this year when he just mentioned it.
They would probably have to give Julius Randle for John Wall. I think that would be a clear swap. They get rid of Julius Randle, which his contract, I think his contract is about 22, 23 million. You bring in John Wall, which kind of matches where he's making 25, 27. I think that makes more sense than going after a Russell Westbrook, where you're going to probably have to give up. I mean, you're hearing some stories that the Rockets want a first-round draft pick. They want 2 starters for that trade to bring in a Russell Westbrook. I think that's a lot to give up. I mean, they want a young player. I'm looking at, you're probably going to have to give up Julius Randle, Kevin Knox, or Frank Ntilikina, and a first-round draft pick. That's a lot for Russell Westbrook, and you're going to take on his contract for 3 years. That's crazy.
Now you have to hope that you can fleece the Rockets GM, because, again, it's a new, inexperienced GM now trying to deal with Russell Westbrook and possibly having to trade James Harden as well. That could be something that the Knicks could take advantage of and fleece them.
Well, and also Washington, I think they have a young GM over there too, so they can probably fleece him too. But I like what Rose has done. I like what Wesley has done. I like what Tom Thibodeau has done. I think this is a good management team. They're working together. It's not all about Phil Jackson or Steve Mills. I think the Knicks have a bunch of guys that are making decisions. It's not just one guy. You go to one guy, you go to Rose to make the final decision, but it's a bunch of guys making decisions, Speedy.
Mm-hmm. Right. And it's finally something that's a lot more competent than trying to just fit a new identity, or Phil Jackson trying to bring in everyone just to fit the triangle offense, not get stars that didn't fit otherwise. It's finally something there. They actually have a legitimate sense of direction, and it's just a matter of, can they get the free agents, and obviously the young players obviously have to be the biggest part of all that, with Barrett, with Toppin, and all the guys like that.
When we come back, ladies and gentlemen, we will be talking to UMass tennis player recruit Brittany Collins here on Below the Mic, only on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
You are now about to witness the strength of
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Hi, this is Terry Crews, actor, former football player, game show host, father of 5, and all-around big dude. I'm also an expert on drama. I know all kinds of drama. There's the good kind that comes with having a house full of kids. There's the bad kind, like season-ending injuries. There's the necessary kind, like having an agent in Hollywood. And there's silly drama, like the drama around my percolating pectorals. And then there's the drama you can skip.
Skip the drama that comes with not having your high school diploma or equivalency. Find free adult education classes near you and finish your high school diploma. Visit finishyourdiploma.org.
Or text diploma to 97779. Message and data rates may apply. Reply STOP to opt out. That's diploma to 97779. And leave the drama to actors like me.
Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes?
How could he do this to you? And for Sheila, she has split ends.
B, console her.
Oh, sweetie, this is going to happen a lot. 4, maybe 5 more times before you get married.
C, take charge.
Got to get this all straightened out. Keep a little talking to, man to man, mano a mano. Hey, Steve. It's now a good time? No? Okay, no problem. Bye.
Or D, help her find a new boyfriend.
I know a great place to meet boys. The internet. Nice, single boys. Never mind. How about some ice cream?
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org, a public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is you over 30 years ago.
Are we there yet? Are we there yet?
And this is your mom when you drive her back from therapy.
Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet?
Roles change without us noticing, and in your new role, we help you help. AARP gives you the information to help care for your mom so that you can have patience with her, just like she did with you. Visit aarp.org/caregiving or call 1-877-333-5885 to get practical health and wellness tips to provide even better care for your loved one.
Are we there yet?
Remember, visit aarp.org/caregiving. AARP, we help you help. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Search. It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network, and you're listening to Below the Mic.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Below the Mic. We are live every single Wednesday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. New York Eastern Time. You can call us at 631-965-4990. You can go to our website at www.worldwidesportsradio.com. Download our app. How many times do I have to tell you? Speedy, I'm going to whip you. I'm going to smack you around a couple of times if you don't do this. Fans out there, all you fans out there, if you like sports, listen to us every single day. You can listen to all our shows. They're live. You can watch our shows. You can listen to our shows. You can go and read our articles, all the great stuff that we do here at the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Check out the app, WWSRN on Apple, or you can go to Android, Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Woo! Speedy. This simulcast crap over here, when you're over there in Connecticut, I can't stand it. I hate producing the shows when I'm trying to concentrate on the damn content of this damn show. Whatever. Anyways. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have our second guest. A very beautiful guest, to say the least. And at least I have something to look at instead of Speedy's face. I mean, that's terrible. Terrible. You see that, Speedy? You see what I do? You see what I have to look at you every day, but now I got something to look at. I at least something. Anyways, we are now talking to UMass tennis player Brittany Collins. What's going on, Britt?
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here. How are you?
We're happy to have you. I mean, we're jumping for joy. I mean, Speedy is too. Look at him.
I can't jump in this room. There's a lot of delicate stuff.
Well, you look like you're about to eat your mic because you're covering your face. You look terrible, by the way. You got to bring that mic down so people can look at that beautiful, hairy face, right, Brittany?
I am so small on my screen anyways. I'm blind. I can hardly see you guys anyways.
You see me, I'm here. Say hello. So Brittany, it's interesting. I saw that you wrote to us on Twitter, and I read. I was actually the one that read what you wrote, and then I reached out to our social media manager, and Jillian, and I told her, reach out to Brittany. I would love to get her on the show. Then I actually went through your Twitter, and I read the story, the background of who you are and what happened to you and what the NCAA did to you. It's absolutely obnoxious what they did to you. Why don't you tell the fans on what they tried to pull on you and what they're doing to you and how far you've gone to fight this?
Yeah. Oh, man. So I guess for me, this started about a month ago. I received a text from one of my coaches with kind of like a headline that UMass was in trouble for impermissible benefits. And I didn't think anything of it because you really don't hear much of women's tennis in the news. And as I clicked on it, I kind of read that I wasn't named, but it was 2 student athletes who had moved off campus, and I was one of them. There was really no other options, and found out that sometime in 2015-16, in my lump sum of scholarship money that gets directly deposited into my bank account, mistakenly there was $252 put in there for what is known as a telecom fee. And that's a stipend that is only entitled to students who live on campus, as it's, I don't want to say reimbursement, but it just covers the cost of a landline, like a phone jack. And there was some clerical error in which they didn't realize I moved off campus my junior year with another teammate of myself on my team. And yeah, unfortunately, UMass found this error, self-reported it, which that is the great part, is that they did come forward and said, you know, we accidentally overpaid one of our athletes $252 and some infraction $504. And unfortunately, you know, at first the NCAA said, that's great, thank you for coming forward, like, glad you guys caught this error. We're going to agree to a self-imposed fine of $5,000 and 1 to 2 years of probation. And that's great that the agreement, you know, was done, until the Committee on Infractions came back and said, no, they need to vacate their seasons 2015 to 2017 because they had this on-court advantage, which is nuts, to say the least, and in the kindest way. So, you know, that night that I found out, I started a petition with my teammates asking, you know, why, detailing all the reasons why this is so wrong on so many different levels. You know, clear abuse of power here by the NCAA and not protecting their student athletes. So it's kind of, you know, made its way. Been talking to a lot of great media outlets, having support from people like Dick Vitale and many more. So that's kind of where we are today, trying to work with senators in Congress to see if we can really push this thing farther, and, you know, kind of demand answers from the NCAA, not just for us, but for collegiate athletes in general.
First of all, and by the way, we are talking to Brittany Collins, UMass tennis player. To me, I believe college athletes should be paid. I've been saying this over and over again. Somehow, if they want to sign autographs and go out there and sign their own autographs to their jerseys, they should be paid for that. I don't understand why the NCAA will drive sanctions at the school or to the player if they find out you're making some money. That makes absolutely no sense, by the way. It doesn't make any sense. I remember, 10 years ago, USC was sanctioned because I think it was Reggie Bush taking money, and Pete Carroll was doing something, you know, and that's why Pete Carroll went to Seattle, and they took away their championships. And then Louisville, they were doing something on the side, and they took away their championship, Louisville basketball. So, you know, I don't understand these sanctions that the NCAA is trying to do. Now, they're making millions and millions of dollars. Am I right? They're making millions of dollars.
Yeah, I think they make $1 billion. And I think it's even more than that, to be honest, which is wild to say out loud.
So they're making millions and millions of dollars off you athletes, okay? You're talking about a ball game in college football. Every ball game that they play, the college is making $30 to $40 million. And in NCAA basketball, every round that a team goes to, they make an extra $10 million. $10 million. So I don't understand. And this is to me completely appalling that a college student who didn't even know that she got $252 in her account, and, you know, being that it was direct deposit, why would you be? I don't even look at my direct deposit. Seriously, who looks at their direct deposit? I mean, I bought something the other day and then I returned it. Do you think I went looking back if I got $6 or $7 back on my direct deposit to me? No, I didn't. I don't care about $6, $7. So why would I care to know that I had $252? All I'm going to say is I got $1,000 in my bank account, and I'm going to spend $200 of it. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's not something that anyone would have picked up on, because it fluctuated by really small amounts depending on books that year, or, you know, whatever, you know, cost of attendance was. So unless I emailed the school and said, can I have a complete breakdown of what I'm getting paid for, which is honestly really unusual for anyone to do, then I wouldn't have noticed it. And to be honest, if I did get a breakdown and I saw a telecom fee, I would have thought I was entitled to it. So there is no way of really knowing, and it is such a small, undetectable thing, to be honest.
So I want to ask you, because again, your case is very specifically with your team, and also it was the men's basketball team that year. I think it was like I said earlier, I think combined 12 athletes or something total. And do you think the NCAA has some like unfair treatment or particular biases when looking at these kinds of scandals? Because we see, like Errol will say, you saw Louisville get really hit hard, you saw USC hit hard, but then there's a team like Kansas basketball a couple years ago with them having illegal recruiting issues with Sylvia D'Souza, and I forget the other guy's name, that they tampered with. Obviously, you saw Sean Miller, DeAndre Ayton, that whole incident, paying them $100,000. Do you think there's a particular bias that goes around with different sports, different players, and obviously different schools?
Yeah, no, great question. Absolutely. This is one of our, biggest points. One of the fact that the NCAA says that their, main goal is to protect student athletes is, excuse my language, kind of a load of crap, because they look the other way, just as you've mentioned, when it's the schools that are making them millions, but they go and try and set an example out of UMass tennis and UMass basketball, kind of not a small state school, but one that doesn't really bring in a lot of revenue, compared to the other schools. So it's clearly, I think that's like kind of our biggest problem, is that the NCAA is both the judge, and the rule maker. So they don't really have anyone to answer to, so they can turn a blind eye, when it comes to who's going to keep making them revenue. So really glad you asked that question. That's one of our main points. And, we want explanation for, why we're doled out the harshest punishment, really possible, when they have really reserved vacating seasons for the most major offenses done with intent. And obviously this was a minor offense done without intent.
They should be answering to us, and they will be answering to us, because we are the press. And to me, that's the only people they're going to listen to, because it doesn't matter to the parents, to the athletes. They're going to do whatever the hell they want. That's what the NCAA does. They don't care about the students. They care about the money that goes into their pockets. It's all political. It's all political. So unfortunately, students like you and schools like UMass are getting attacked. You cannot take away wins. You can't take away championships, because your rules, they break your rules. I mean, there are so many people, there are so many athletes that have broken the rules and never got caught. Never got caught.
Yeah.
But because they're football players, like you were saying, because they're professional, they're going to be the next professional. You remember the story with Memphis and Derrick Rose? Derrick Rose was cheating. They were cheating on tests. He wasn't going to classes. They were practically passing him through. So, because they knew that he was going to be the number one pick in the draft, and he was going to take Memphis all the way to a national championship. And that's why they did it. And what did Derrick Rose? It eventually came out. Did they do anything to Derrick Rose? Did they do anything to Memphis? The answer is no, they didn't do anything. They did absolutely nothing. So again, I agree with you. I think the NCAA, they attack other sports or schools that are smaller than the big schools, because they're trying to make a statement. They're trying to say, you see, look what we did to them. If you don't stop it, we're going to do it to you, which I think is ridiculous.
Yeah, really kind of shameful. And hopefully, we can get that changed in some way. Like you said, credit to you. It's so awesome to be talking to a number of media outlets, because trying to get, as much awareness out there that these things happen is so important to making change. And then we can get, the attention of, the politicians and say like, hey, like this is really what's going on. And it starts with the media reporting on, kind of the unfortunate events that have kind of brought us here.
Do you think there's anything specific that the NCAA, in terms of a rule or in terms of maybe a different way of approaching it, can deal with these specific payments? Because like in your case, it's very specific with that type of phone, for example, that's only supposed to be used in on-campus living, like something specific like that. The term that was used in an article I was reading, there's stipend, something like that. Do you think there's anything specific they could do it with different cases? Because I'm sure there's many different things, especially now with all the technology available and more accessibility to certain things. outside of campus. Do you think there's specific rules that can make a difference in terms of that change, or maybe something with the scholarship itself, the athletic scholarship, that can be changed?
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of in like a two-part answer, one starting with myself, that stipend actually got discontinued that 2015-16 year. So it doesn't even exist, the year after yet. I'm still vacated for that season, even though it didn't exist anymore, which is really interesting. But I mean, I think the first rule in regards to UMass tennis, if a student athlete, like, something as minor as this doesn't, or collegiate athlete doesn't have awareness, and they can prove that there was no athletic advantage on the field, then the schools should be the ones kind of taking the punishment. And as our athletic director has so kindly stated multiple times, Ryan Bamford, like the school was at fault here, so the school should be the ones taking the punishment with larger fines or longer probations. The collegiate athletes should be really left out of it. And just kind of including me in the investigation, not once was I ever contacted. If they asked me if I still had that $252, well, my bank account has never gone below that, so I could just give it right back. So to say I had an athletic advantage is kind of crazy, but they wouldn't know that because they've never asked me. And then in a broader sense, to your question, I think there needs to be larger not rules, I would say really bills that give power back to collegiate athletes so that they have somewhere to go, like an independent organization that can actually defend them in situations like ourselves, because really we don't have anywhere to go. The people we answer to are the people making the rules, which I know I said before, but that's really kind of the biggest problem. So, whether that be, paying athletes or, collective bargaining agreements so that, some sort of power dynamic shift can happen. That's really what's important here.
We are talking to UMass tennis player Brittany Collins. Now, Brittany is right now fighting with the sanctions of the NCAA right now because the UMass actually sent her direct deposit $252 into her bank account, and then are now sanctioning the school and all this crap that's going on. They're taking away wins and championships and all the crap. And I think the NCAA needs to open up their eyes, because if they don't, you're going to see these players slowly but surely, not tennis players, but the future athletes, professional athletes, decide, you know what, I'm not going to play college sports. I'm not even going to waste my time. I want to make money. Half these kids are coming from poor families or come from families that don't have money, and they go over there because they want to, their parents want them to go for a college education. But the truth is they're only going there for 1 or 2 years to obviously, so they can have the opportunity to move into the NFL draft or the NBA draft, the 1 year, one and done, because that's the rules with the NBA right now. In the NFL, it's 2 years. Your third year, you can go into the NFL. And to me, it's all sanctioned. I think that when you look at the big picture, even Brittany coming out and not, she's not attacking the NCAA. She's not doing that. She's saying that there has to be some kind of fairness to what's going on, not only in her sport, but all the sports. And you can't look at one sport and say, because they're bringing and generating more money, that they're going to just be pushed to the side, and they're attacking a smaller school and a sport that doesn't bring in as much revenue.
Yeah. Well said. Very well said. I think it, just kind of goes back to the well-being of collegiate athletes and their safety, and how can we ensure that? And it's really hard to do that when the focus is all about who's making the money.
So why don't you, to me, I would go around, I would try to set something up on Facebook. This is what I would do if I were you. I would try to get some college athletes that agree with you, that will follow through with this. Name, like big name athletes, come out and join your fight against the NCAA, and have them follow and be spokesmen from your fight. I think that would be a great idea, Brittany. You're a young lady. You can be the spokeswoman for the organization, maybe even build a foundation through this, and help raise awareness of what's going on with the NCAA.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm trying to kind of educate myself, because politics definitely does play a role in this, and surround myself with really great people. I've just started working with the Drake Group, who's done NCAA reform for a long time. I'm in contact with Jeremy Bloom, who basically is doing the same thing that I'm doing now 15 years ago. He testified in Congress, which I think I might do later this year to help try and pass legislation. So just like you said, I'm trying to find a circle of people, and it seems to be a really great one, talking with a lot of lawyers right now, not necessarily to file suit, but just to see, what we can all do together, because this is a huge conversation, one that's been going on for a long time. And while this kind of has sucked, I guess, for UMass tennis, this has really brought out a lot of good and positive things, and I think is moving it towards the right direction.
So before we let you go, let's come off this and let's talk about some fun things. So how are you doing right now in school? Are you a senior? Or are you a junior?
Actually, so I actually play professional tennis now. I graduated in 2017, which makes this story even crazier because I'm 3 years out of school.
Okay.
So I'm actually from Boston, and I'm playing professionally now, but things are quiet because of the pandemic.
So you want to go and play in Wimbledon, U.S. Open, that kind of stuff, right?
Ideally, yes.
All right. So are you a ranked player? Were you a ranked player in college?
In college, I do not believe so, but I'd have to go back and look. But I know our team, I think, got a ranking at one point, but I am WTA ranked in singles and doubles. I think I fell quite a bit since the pandemic. I haven't actually played a match since March because of, COVID and the restrictions with women's tennis right now.
I was a pretty good tennis player too. I mean, if we played one-on-one, I probably get 1 point or.
Most likely, I do throw in double faults time to time. So.
Oh yeah, you'll kill me, and you'll probably beat me. It'll be like it'll go from 30-love to 40-love to loss. That's probably what's going to happen. I mean, I watch tennis. I played tennis my senior year at high school. I'm sorry. At the time, my hockey coach told me he didn't want me to run. He didn't want me to play football my senior year of high school. He said, just strictly play something that is not full contact. I don't want you getting hurt. So I decided it was either golf, playing for, it wasn't part of the school. I guess you can say it was a team that you go and play golf with the, whatever. I forget, what do they call that? Intramurals or something like that?
Yeah, like our club teams. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a club team or some crap like that. But I didn't want to play golf because I thought it was boring, But so I said, you know what? I'm going to go play tennis. I'm going to go try out. So I mean, you see all these beautiful girls and all this. I could do this. This is easy, So I stepped on a court, and it took a while. I can't serve for crap. I was terrible. I mean. But I can run. So what they did against me, I play ping pong. So I was a very good ping pong player when I was a kid. Okay. Very good. So I knew how to put backspin on a ball, but it's completely different in tennis. And it took a while. And by the way, by the time I was done my senior year playing tennis, I was second in singles and third in doubles. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Right.
I was pretty good. I still couldn't serve. I'm terrible at serving. To this day, I'm terrible. But I can run after a ball, and I have such quick reflexes. When I was playing sports, I had such quick and tennis. You need.
Tennis.
Yes.
Yeah, it's super important for tennis. So, well, all sports, of course, but.
No, tennis. Oh my God, tennis. Believe it or not, tennis is the hardest sport I've ever played. It is the hardest sport. I'm dead serious. You guys think you watch tennis players hit a ball over the net and you're running back and forth. It is not easy. Serena Williams, there's a reason why she's one of the greatest tennis players to ever play the game and one of the greatest athletes to ever play.
Yeah, 100%.
Tennis players are unbelievable.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's once you get started, I think a lot of people like it when they, after, trying it a few times. It's not always everyone's favorite to watch, but I think it's a lot more fun to play.
Absolutely. So before we let you go, are you following us on social media?
Yes, I believe I am. I think we've been kind of sharing the petition back and forth. So yeah, I think I'm all set following you guys everywhere on social media.
You got to follow me on my social media. Don't follow Speedy because Speedy is the bearded werewolf over there. So he needs to shave a little bit. You should have saw him, Brittany, about a month ago. What he did was he shaved his beard and he looked like he kept his mustache like Freddie Mercury because we had he seriously looked like Freddie Mercury. We had one of who do we have on? We had
Tolik Bortz.
Bortz on.
He makes a lot of masks for hockey players and also for underprivileged communities. And one of the things he is a big advocate of was Movember. Obviously, we've seen people do that for many different reasons. So I did it for a couple of weeks, and now all my facial hair grew back.
Why not? We can do whatever we want. 2020 has been a tough year.
Well, I want to actually reach out to Mr. Bortz and see if he can make you a mask that stands for what is going on with you in the NCAA. And maybe,
awesome. I would love that.
Maybe have you guys design something where all the submission of what's going on, maybe you going to the Senate and stuff like that, you can wear that mask and show off and
I'd love to.
And have all the other petition people that are following you to wear the mask too.
Yeah, that's a great idea, actually. Yeah. So definitely connect me, and I'll be on the lookout for that.
Speedy, you there? Mm-hmm. Reach out to Mr. Bortz. Let's hook Mr. Bortz and Brittany up. Mm-hmm. He's a really, really nice guy. He made the face masks for the NHL, the New York Rangers, for the playoffs. He's running a foundation. It's a nonprofit organization. I think he would absolutely love to do something with you.
Yeah, that sounds great. I'm very about it. So thank you very much for bringing that up.
Oh man, I'm the greatest. Speedy. I mean, who's lost on that one? Anyways, Brittany, why don't you tell the fans how they can find you on social media?
Yeah. Oh man, I almost never look at my own social media. I think it's at Britt Collins 22. Collins is with an E and not an I, so that's a little bit different. But yeah, Brittany Collins. I think Britt Collins 22 is everything I use. And the most important thing is getting signatures on our petition so we can appeal this to the NCAA.
Send it to us. We'll sign it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Send it to us. We'll sign it. And by the way, we'd love to get you on in the near future to talk a little bit about what you're doing moving forward with this, and whatever we can do to help, we would love to be there and help you.
Well, I very much appreciate it, and so does UMass Tennis. So thank you very much.
Absolutely. Brittany Collins, ladies and gentlemen, was an ex-UMass tennis player. 3 years as a professional. So I'm looking forward to watching her play in Wimbledon or U.S. Open. I am a tennis fan. Believe it or not, I grew up an Andre Agassi fan, a Pete Sampras fan. I watched a lot of tennis when I was a kid. Unfortunately, there are not many good American players besides Serena Williams anymore. So we're hoping maybe Brittany will be the next big ranked American girl tennis player. And I'd be rooting for you, Britt. So
thank you.
Absolutely. So Brittany Collins. Well, Speedy. We got about 20 minutes or 18 minutes left of the show. So we do have to finish up with some of our NFL picks, don't we?
Yeah. I mean, we got Thanksgiving games tomorrow. We got two of them. The Ravens Steelers just got moved to Sunday because two Ravens, I think it was J.K. Dobbins and Mark Ingram, both tested positive for COVID. So that got moved. So it's Texans Lions and it's Washington and the Cowboys, the two traditional Thanksgiving games. So you want me to go first? You want to go first?
Let's get let's get some instrumental here to help you out over here. Let's do a little privacy, a little slow kind of music because you're so low. There we go. Go ahead.
All right. So we'll start with the Texans and the Lions in Detroit. Obviously, they host it every year. This is an interesting matchup. I like the Texans in this one, though, because I think Deshaun Watson's done well against Matt Patricia's defense when he was in New England, and that style has always had trouble against running quarterbacks, and I think that's going to make a big difference. The receiving depth is still, again, it's not great. Obviously, they traded Hopkins, but it's still decent enough where they could attack that secondary. I think a more high-scoring game. I'll say 34-27 Houston.
It's an interesting game. This is actually going to be a fun game to watch. Don't be surprised if this is the best game of the week. And I know a lot of people say, well, Pittsburgh and the Ravens are the Thursday night game. But The Ravens haven't played well, and what we've seen with Lamar Jackson, he has been a complete bust this year. This was the MVP of the league, but the Texans are a team that Deshaun Watson showed you why he's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL last week. He outplayed his opponent the way we expected him to last week, and then you're going over there with Matthew Stafford. Believe it or not, the Lions have played very, very well on Thanksgiving. They really have. Over the last couple of years, they have. So it's interesting when you have Matthew Stafford against Deshaun Watson. So I'm going to go with the Lions in this game. I will. I think the Lions are, being that they're home, they played well on Thanksgiving. And Matthew Stafford has a lot to prove because he will not be a Lion next year. So he'd be looking, I know the Lions will be looking to trade him in the offseason. Watch out for the New England Patriots. I've been saying that for a very long time. Don't be so surprised if Matthew Stafford gets traded to the New England Patriots. So I've got the Lions.
All right. So Washington and Dallas is the other Thanksgiving game. I like Washington in this one. I think that Dallas' defense has still had a lot of trouble so far. I know they beat the Vikings last week, but that's not because of their defense. That was because of their offense. Washington's gotten a little better offensively. Alex Smith has continued to impress. He's done very well so far in the second half of the season. So I think Washington wins. I think the game will be kind of close because the Cowboys' offense did bounce back nicely. But I'll take Washington. I'll say 26-20.
Yeah, I got the Cowboys in this game. They're the home team. I'm going with the home teams. I am. I don't know. I haven't decided yet with Pittsburgh and the Ravens, but I got the Cowboys in this game. I know they have a fifth string or a sixth string quarterback playing for them, and I don't think it has anything to do with the quarterback play in this game. I think it's going to be all about the running game and the Cowboys. And I believe over the last couple of years, we've seen the Cowboys in the Thanksgiving games. Ezekiel Elliott has had good games, and I think Ezekiel Elliott is going to have a breakout game against the Washington football team, even though the Washington football team has looked better defensively for the last couple of weeks. I think the Cowboys' offensive line has also looked pretty good, and I think they're going to be able to run the ball against the Washington football team. So I have the Cowboys in this game.
All right, Steelers, the Ravens, now not Thanksgiving anymore, moved to 1 o'clock because of the COVID concerns. Ravens at the Steelers. I am actually going to take the upset. I think this is the first loss of the season for the Steelers. I think they're due at some point, and we've had this one kind of penciled as what could be. We've seen the Ravens win in Pittsburgh and vice versa, and I think this is – I can't see them losing 3 in a row. I think their defense bounces back.
Well, hold on one second. So when is Pittsburgh and the Ravens playing?
So they're playing Sunday at 1 now instead of –
Why? That sucks. That ruins really Thursday night football. It ruins everything that we wait for the NFL on Thanksgiving. That's terrible.
But I think that kind of that extra rest.
When did that happen? When was that? When did that come out?
Just announced this morning that they changed.
Oh my God, that was terrible. Terrible by the NFL. Absolutely horrendous.
Yeah, nevertheless, I think that helps the Ravens though because the Ravens have a little bit kind of regroup and
cardio burns fat, Speedy. Did you hear that?
Actually burns calories.
Cardio burns calories. Go ahead, Speedy.
So I'll take the Ravens. I think it'll be kind of a lower scoring game.
I'm not even going to make the pick. I'm pissed off now.
I'll say 23-20.
I have the Ravens in the game too, but I don't even want to make my pick. It's disgraceful. This has nothing to do with COVID-19. What does it matter if they play at 1 o'clock or 8 o'clock? Is COVID out there? Does COVID come out in the nighttime? They're like killer bees or something. It's ridiculous. What stops the NFL to have an 8 o'clock game for the NFL? That doesn't make any sense.
I don't know.
You sit there with you have a stick stuck up your ass, Speedy. Why don't you grow a set of balls and speak? I mean, it's ridiculous. The NFL, they make same thing with the NCAA. The NFL does the same damn thing. It's so pathetic. With the Macy's Day Parade, they're gonna have a virtual parade. They don't have a parade. Don't have a parade. What is the point of having a parade if it's gonna be virtually? It doesn't make sense. And then you're looking at the NFL. Why would you have a 12:30 game and a 4 o'clock game if you're not going to have an 8 o'clock game?
Right.
Mm-hmm. What is the point of that?
Yeah, that always
COVID-19. Why don't you just speak up and just say the players didn't want to play in the game because they want to spend time with their families?
I mean, yeah, but if that was the case, that would be a tradition every year, though. This is the whole different circumstances, though, with that. So I guess they haven't been able to settle it down with those two running backs yet, and that could be a big loss for them if they are not able to play. I think Dobbins got it first, and then Ingram was close after that.
I think it's absolutely pathetic. I think the NFL needs to change that. I don't think they're going to change it but you do it the day before the Thanksgiving games. Why would you do that? You should have done that. First of all, wait a second. Last week they had a Thursday night football game, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
The week before that they had a Thursday night football game, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So why are they changing a Thursday night football game this week? What is the difference if COVID-19 is right now functioning or if it isn't? What does that have anything to do with it?
I don't know. It must be just the facilities, I guess. But they're playing in Pittsburgh, though, and it was the Ravens facility. So I don't know.
It doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Before we go, I want to get off the football topic. Baseball. There are some stories coming out that Blake Snell is available, which I'm very surprised. Why would the Tampa Bay? First of all, he's at the peak of his career. Now, I understand they like to get rid of players before they start to break down. Blake Snell is 24 years old, 25 years old. He's a kid. Now, why are they thinking about trading him now when he's at the hottest point of his career right now? They don't trade players at this age the way they are. What they're talking about trading Blake Snell at the age of 20, 24, 25. That doesn't make any sense, Speedy.
Yeah, I think they're maybe just trying to sell him at his highest point. But even so, is that really going to be a benefit right now to a team that has a lot of young relief pitchers already? The Rays don't need much, so they should try to hang on to as many stars as they can. And I don't think Snell's going to get a ton of money. I mean, he's had a Cy Young year, and yeah, he played well in the postseason this year, yeah, but he's not. I wouldn't say he's like an elite like every.
He's going to get $30 million a year, Speedy.
So. Right. So I think they could try their best to hang on to them because the Rays have enough depth. Now, you're right. They do replenish well. So maybe that's why you're trusting the process of that kind of system. But it still is very strange as a whole for them to be able to do that right now. And you wonder how much is going to drop his value now that they're saying they're actively shopping him. And that's never a good sign either, which is unlike the Rays. They usually do things very sneaky.
Now, let me ask you this question. The Yankees, what do you think the Yankees have to give up to get a Blake Snell?
Ooh, that is tricky. I think definitely one of their young pitchers for sure. You mentioned Montgomery earlier. Maybe they're going
to want more. I think they're going to want more.
No, I know it might. I know you're not going to like this. It might have to take somebody like Garcia
because again, Savarino or Savarino.
Yeah. Or Severino, yeah. But again, I think the Rays, if they're trying to trade him, I don't know if they're really looking to gamble on something else like a Severino who's had his injury problems. So I don't know if they would necessarily.
But he's first of all, he has an affordable contract. A very affordable contract. The Yankees signed him for a 4 or 5 year deal. He's only making $70 or $80 million. That's not a lot for a starting pitcher, and you have control of him for the next 3 years. So that makes sense. You don't have to overpay him.
Yeah, I feel like with the Rays, with all the injury-prone players they have already, I don't know if they want to take that kind of chance, though. I think they're at that point they'd rather hang on to Snell and let him ride it out, and again see value from other teams or something like that. I think because you mentioned all the time, I think the Yankees, they have a wealth of young players and young players that are not going to have roster space right now. So the Rays are going to probably want a good slew of that. And definitely they're going to start with pitching. You mentioned Andujar earlier. It might be even somebody else on the active roster right now. I don't think they'll trade Frazier because Frazier was too valuable for them this year.
They're not trading Frazier.
But, I mean, maybe this is a deal that we were talking about moving Gary Sanchez. Maybe this is a deal he's involved in too because the Rays have always had up and down years with their catchers too. So maybe that's something they could spark.
Well, Gary Sanchez, Savarino, and one or two prospects in their farm system. And I think that would seal the deal for Blake Snell.
If they want Severino, that's gonna be the big question.
Severino's an add-on piece that gives you a pitcher that's affordable to keep. And Severino he torn his UCL and he has a shoulder injury. He's going to come back even better. I don't know why you keep saying. How many times do we see pitchers come back from an injury, a UCL, and they're much better? I believe Severino will be a much better pitcher when he comes back from his injury. So I
know that if they're going to make that kind of trade, it make him the primary piece of that kind of trade.
I just said Gary Sanchez. Are you listening to me? Gary Sanchez, Luis Severino, and two prospects in their farm system. That would seal the deal. That you're getting two starters. You're getting one of the best catchers in baseball, one of the best offensive catchers in baseball, and you're getting Severino, who has been when healthy, he was one of the best pitchers in baseball. And you're getting 2 prospects, AA or AAA prospects. That would seal the deal for Blake Snell. I think that would be a perfect deal for the Yankees to bring in Blake Snell. And I do believe the Yankees will look at Blake Snell and make a move for him because he's still under. I still think he's under his rookie contract for another 2 years.
Yep. He's a really affordable rookie contract. I think he got most of it paid already in the early part of his career. I don't think he's making much at all right now. Even again, I'm surprised that case happens with the arbitration cases right after him winning a Cy Young. It was very low after that, maybe because he had trouble the next year.
When do you think obviously free agency? When does free agency open up for the MLB?
I want to say December 6th was the start date they had. I know they pushed it back a little bit.
So that's a week away.
Yeah. I think they pushed it back a little bit from what it was last year, because I think last year it started in November. But I believe December 6th was the start date that they had in mind, assuming everything went right in terms of getting everything involved and settled in. Because normally they have it in one set location, but obviously they can't do that with the pandemic right now.
Well, it's going to be very, very interesting. I do believe George Springer will be a New York Met by the 6th. If they haven't really already made the deal with George Springer, I'm sure they have a significant deal. I mean, George Springer is going to get $200 million a year. He's going to get a lot of money. So if he's not the best center fielder in the league, he's one of the top 4 center fielders in the league. He's going to get a lot of money, and I don't think Houston's going to pay him. And I do believe the Red Sox and the Mets are the 2 teams, the front runners to get him. I do believe the Mets will get who they want because Cohen is the richer guy. He's the richer owner. And I do believe that they're gunning for at least one. I keep hearing all these different guys that Josh is saying that they should go after Nolan Arenado. They should go after this guy. They're not going after all these guys. They're not. Bauer, they're not getting all these guys. I don't care how much money they're going to get back from the Robinson Cano move. And that might help them go after another big time player. But if at best you're going to get 1 or 2 guys, that's it. That's all they're going to spend. I can't expect Stevie Cohen to go after all these big name players and spend $400-500 million in his first year as the Mets owner. So
yeah, I've also seen that thing backfire at times too, with teams that have these big spending sprees and everyone thinks they're going to be very good. Look at the Marlins in 2011 when they went after Jose Reyes, they went after Mark Burley, all those guys, and that was a big flop. Then the Blue Jays tried it, then the Padres we saw try it, and that didn't work. So he's going to definitely be smart about it. And like Josh was saying too, he's not going to be reckless with the money like we've seen some other big market teams like the Tigers, like the Angels. He's not going to be reckless like that kind of thing. So yeah, I think it'll be probably one big player and maybe a significant trade to help out their pitching staff or help out their bullpen, because they definitely could use help there.
Everything I've read, ladies and gentlemen, DJ LeMahieu will sign back with the New York Yankees by December 6th. So I do believe the Yankees will seal the deal with DJ LeMahieu. He will stay with the Yankees. He's their number 1 target this offseason to make sure that he's happy. And then they're going to have, now that they arbitrated Gary Sanchez, I do believe that the Yankees will try to trade him one way or another. So we'll see what happens moving forward this offseason for baseball. Anyways, that's it for our show, ladies and gentlemen. The Weekend Crunch. Definitely tune in. 103.9, the LI News Radio Network, every Saturday at 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. New York Eastern Time. Me, Eric Coleman, Speedy. We have a great show. This week we have a great show lined up for you guys. So definitely stay tuned for that. We will be back next week. Happy Thanksgiving to all. Absolutely happy Thanksgiving to all you guys. Make sure you eat. Don't drive drunk. Don't drive home drinking or smoking or whatever the heck you do for fun. Make sure that you take care of yourselves and your families. And we will talk to you Monday of next week. Until then, this is Errol Marks and Speedy Petey saying good night. And we will talk to you later. Good night, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Hi, this is Terry Crews.